Hello, this is Evangelist Dr. Robert L. McKim Sr. Well, first off, I wanted to talk about something that I've been talking about for a good long while, is the fact that what gets me is how so many people out there receive more food stamp benefits than the people who really needs it. Like myself and Renee. We need more than $16 a month in food stamps. Because right now, with our situation, having our normal bills being around $800 a month, and then the loans on top of that, another close to $300 a month, takes us over $1,000 a month. And when we only get $1,466 a month to live on, and that's all, no more than that. They only gave us $16 a month in food stamps. $16. That's a drop in the bucket. When I was legally married to my ex-wife, we got over $300 a month in food stamps. For me and her and our 2 sons. And we had a lot left over and really, didn't use it all every month. And then when I was living by myself, I got over $100 a month in food stamps. And then when Renee moved in with me, and we got married, not legally, but we got married, and under the eyes of God, it is still a marriage. Whether people want to accept it or not, I don't care. God accepts my marriage. And if they don't want to accept it, then that's them. Because here's another thing that is the truth that a lot of people don't understand when people are living on benefits from the government. The government takes away money. They don't give money. They take away. They take away money. They don't want to give money to the people who really needs it. Then there's people out there that say, well, if you can't work with your hands, you don't need it. Well, you know what? Jesus never said that. And I go with what Jesus says. I am a child of God and an heir with Jesus Christ. And I preach what Jesus Christ preached and the disciples. I'm not into hyper-disciplinationism. Can't say it real well because I don't have no teeth, and I got teeth, but I'm slowly learning how to use them. Trying to find here where I got that. Long story short, well, I'm looking for it here. Channel 10 News out of Columbus did a story about they found 41 households with a balance between $7,000 and $10,000 on their food stamp cards. And 14 households have 10,000 or more on their food stamp cards. Excuse me. What later on, after we moved here to Carrollton, Ohio, we were getting $66 a month in food stamps. Then it went down to $44. Then it went down to $25. Then it got cut another dollar. Then it went down to $15 a month. And then we got a dollar increase. And it's been a dollar increase for over a year now. Doesn't make no sense when people who need to eat right can't get the food. Because after we pay our monthly bills that we have to pay, lot rent, electric, satellite, so we can have shows that we want to watch, not what someone thinks we should watch. Excuse me, I worked, okay? If you don't like it, I don't care. You're judging the wrong person when it comes right down to it. I worked a job back in 1988 into 89. I got hired in November of 88 and worked until April of 89. And in April of 89, I came down with the flu. I was vomiting and I had the diarrhea. I was weak. I could not go to work. I had a doctor's excuse. It's not my fault that the security company I was working for didn't have a backup, somebody like on call that they could, call in when someone gets sick. Basically, if you got sick, you lost your job. But the way they did it was, one, illegal, and two, well, what happened was, when I got feeling better, I went back to work. I showed my supervisor the note from my doctor. She accepted it without, saying anything. And there were two new guards that was hired while I was gone. I asked why. I asked her why there was two new guards hired. Found out one guard that was an ex-police officer was fired, supposedly for not picking up trash in the parking lot where the employees of the factory parks. Well, it was their trash, not his. And it wasn't really his job description to go out and pick up the trash. He had to stay in the guardhouse and man the scales, the truck scales. That was his job description. Well, they fired him, and unbeknownst to me, they were firing me, but they did it in a cruel way. They, like I said, my supervisor didn't say anything. She just said, I want to see which one works out, is what she told me. I'm like, okay, this doesn't sound right, but, I'll go with it. And on the desk, usually, in the main guardhouse, is usually 2 work schedules. The work schedule for the week that you're working on, and then the following week's work schedule. And there was only one work schedule, and that was the week that we were working on. I asked her where the other work schedule is, and she said she's working on it. And I thought, well, okay, I'll buy that, because, you probably want to see about these other new guards, how they'll work out. Come Easter Sunday in 1989. It was foggy. You could basically cut the fog with a knife. Driving from Newcomerstown to Coshocton, Ohio, to go to work. When I got to the guard shack, the guards that were there, they left in a hurry. And there were 2 new guards that was there, and the 2 new guards that she hired was there in the guard shack, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, nobody telling me really the truth or what's going on. Especially my supervisor. She wasn't telling me the truth. She wasn't telling me, hey, by the way, I'm firing you because you were sick for 6 days. No. She didn't tell me nothing. I called her house because the new schedule was on the desk, and my name wasn't even on it. And then I called her house. Her husband said she went to her mother's, for Easter, and I'm like, okay, and she probably just doesn't want to talk to me. And then I called her supervisor, and he got belligerent with me on the telephone, threatened to call the sheriff's department if I didn't leave the premises. I'm like, what? What did I do wrong? I was off sick. I had a doctor's excuse from old Dr. Agricola from Newcomerstown. You can look him up. He was a doctor. He was my doctor at the time. He's done passed away now. But you need to stop being a judge of me and listen to what I'm saying, because I'm not stupid. But yet there's people out there who want to say, I'm stupid, I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what? Because you judge me the way you judge me, it's going to come right back to you. But what I found out was when I went to go file for unemployment, they wouldn't give me my unemployment right away because, I was fired. And if you're fired, you don't get unemployment. If you're laid off, you get unemployment. If you're fired, no, you don't get unemployment. So they had to find out why I was fired from the company. And the company, the main company, Ohio Security Systems, out of Warren, Ohio, would not communicate with the unemployment office. They kept refusing to talk to them. Finally, after several attempts, They got a letter that I missed 16 days of work without a valid excuse. 16. Excuse me, she added an extra 10 days. I worked every single day, and I showed the unemployment office my pay stubs where I worked every single hour, every single day that I was supposed to work, except 6. 6 days I was off with the flu, and I had the doctor's excuse, and they said, we're gonna believe you. We're gonna believe you and give you your unemployment. Several days later, because you have to go back into the unemployment office and constantly look for a job and have a paper signed and everything. A lot of hoops that you have to jump through. Well, I showed up there, kind of looking for on the board for jobs. Lo and behold, who did I see standing in the appointment line to sign up for unemployment? Was my ex-supervisor and some other employees from the security place there in Coshocton I worked at. God takes care of His people, His children. God takes care. God repays. That's why I say, and I believe, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. You give it over to Him, He will take care of your enemies. He takes care of my enemies, and eventually He will take care of these people that are constantly badgering me and bullying me on my Facebook and YouTube. He will take care of you. But a little bit here, I want to play this about this is a commercial.
That's why the Motorist Insurance Group is proud to recognize these dispatch scholar athletes who excel not only on the field, but also in the classroom and in their communities. You can learn more about the dispatch scholar athletes at motoristallstars.com.
The Mill Creek Insurance Agency proudly supports Central Ohio Scholar Athletes.
Come on.
Motorist Insurance. You know us.
Also new at 6, 27 members of Congress demand answers after 10 Investigates reveals a problem with the federal food stamp program. They say they are shocked to learn some households have more than $20,000 of food benefits on their accounts.
So we looked into this. 10 Investigates' Nathan Baca first revealed this in October. Now he tracks down what Congress is doing to fix the problem.
More than 24 members of Congress signed this letter demanding answers from the federal agency running the food stamp program, the USDA. They want to know whether food benefits have proper oversight when some households nationwide, including Ohio, racked up massive balances on their accounts. While some Ohioans wait months to get food assistance, others are going for months adding food benefits they don't need. 10 Investigates found 41 households with balances between $7,000 and $10,000. 14 households have $10,000 or more. That's more than many people have in their savings accounts. Franklin County's top household has $17,000 on its card. The highest in Ohio, nearly $21,000 in one Cuyahoga County household. Ohio Congressman Bob Gibbs is on the committee overseeing the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP.
I know when I mentioned this to my colleagues here in Washington and signed on the letter, they were just like, are you kidding me? You know, they were just shocked that people could have balances on their SNAP cards at these levels. And, what's really happening here? Where's the oversight and the accountability?
Gibbs pledges to take action, including writing new use it or lose it style legislation. It would cap the time people grow benefit balances at 60 days rather than the current limit of 1 year. County agencies are responsible for overseeing food benefits. They tell 10 Investigates these large balances are not from fraud. Counties blame the balances on federal policy giving food benefits on eligibility and not need.
So that really does distort the program, and and makes it tougher for, I think, policymakers to understand what the real needs are out there.
Gibbs convinced more than 24 other lawmakers to take a deeper look, taking 10 Investigates research nationwide.
I think we're really, pleased with your investigation to bring this to our attention, and that's why we're taking action.
10 Investigates also found similar reports of large food benefit balances in Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Washington state. Those reports are from 2013, and Congress has not moved to do anything about it until now.
So now they're finding out there are people out there who have, wow, 7 to 10 and $10,000 to $20,000 on their food stamp cards. Well, we get a meager $16 because it's based on eligibility instead of need. I shouldn't be eating sugar, but sugar is cheaper than other stuff called Splenda. We go through 20 pounds, 2 10-pound bags of sugar in a month. 2 10-pound bags of sugar is like $10. Splenda would be a whole lot more than that for 20 pounds. Because you can't even get a 10-pound bag of Splenda. Doesn't even come that much. And to prove it, I took pictures of Splenda in the grocery store. Here's the generic Splenda. That's as big as the bag it comes in for $5 or something, and you can't. The size isn't there. And then there's stevia. Stevia in the roll. 9 ounces for $7 or something. And here's Splenda. Well, can't tell the ounces, but it's 275 grams for $3.74. This is the Splenda. Like I said, I took pictures of the food. So like here's the sugar. Right now it was $5.44 when I took this picture. It's down to $4 and something now for a 10-pound bag of sugar. It's when you don't have the money or the food stamps, you gotta buy what you can afford. And even if that means you buy stuff that you shouldn't be eating. But another thing too, here in America, we grew up eating, meatloaf, hamburger, hot dogs, macaroni and cheese, TV dinners. I had a lot of soup, beans, and cornbread growing up. There was a winter that we were snowed in, couldn't get to the store, and we had to eat we had a garden and had to eat the green bean sandwiches because my mother canned a lot of green beans. So I decided to put green beans in between two slices of bread with butter. They made green bean sandwiches. And ate green beans sandwiches. Not just green beans, but also wax beans. Yellow beans. Long story short, granted I have not went hungry, but yet I have not been able to eat what a lot of experts say I'm supposed to be eating to not become a diabetic. The problem is too, when you grow up in the 70s and the 80s, you grow up with the value of, if you don't eat what you have and if you don't eat what's put in front of you, you go to bed hungry. Now, in other countries, like this one woman from Thailand, they eat different than we do. But you need to stop judging me and commenting on my Facebook site about me eating peanut butter when my sugar goes down. It almost sounds like really you want me to die. Because what happens when someone's sugar goes down? They go into sugar shock. And then an ambulance will have to be called. I'm not stupid. Stop treating me like I'm stupid. And there's people that says, well, doctors don't want to listen to me. Excuse me. They don't want to listen to anybody anymore except Obamacare. And there's people out there that says, oh, it's not Obamacare. Obamacare is giving them the guidelines on who they can treat and who they can't treat anymore. If they think somebody is not a viable person, then they don't treat them the way they should be treated. Back when Renee had this cellulitis, and she was in the hospital with IVs, a doctor told me and told her that when she gets this, she would have to be aggressively treated with IV antibiotics. Not shots and not pills. IV antibiotics. But that was several years ago. And fast forward to now, because of Obamacare, if it doesn't look bad, they won't do nothing. Except give you a shot and send you home with pills. And sometimes they don't even do that. They just send her home with nothing. They just look, oh, you know, yeah, okay, you got some cellulitis going on, you know. You need to stop judging me and Renee. Because when it comes down to it, you're a sadist. And a sadist basically is a person who loves to inflict pain on other people. Even if it words, you know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Well, you know what? It does hurt. Names hurt. Walk a mile in my shoes real quick here. Here's some scripture that talks about judging and how we're supposed to live as Christians. My time's almost up here on my camera, so I'm going to say, God bless you. Have a blessed day.